The newest class in AQ Worlds has already been buffed for solo use. It got adjusted for other things. We'll go over all the changes to the class, what you need to know about it in this video. Yeah, Verus DoomKnight has already been adjusted. Let's go over it. Alright, so there was a designer's post from the class council, and the summary of the post is that they reduce the stat buffs from the Unleashed Doom and Darkness auras, but drastically increase the base damage of all skills. Solo damage should be slightly higher than before, and damage in party should be significantly increased. Also made adjustments to the class's utility, reduced MP cost, and increased the duration of the Darkness auras. So yeah, that's about the summary of the changes to the class. So the skill Necrotic Blade went from 35% damage to 80%, so that's pretty big. Weakened no longer reduces crit chance by 15, so that's good for you. I think it's for you and not the enemy. And then no longer applies blinded. So this is that's a adjustment that removed an ability. Blinded reduced your target's hit chance by 30% for 3 seconds. So your target's going to be able to hit you 30% better now when you use a skill. So that's so you're trading off the damage for that utility there on that skill. So you might like or dislike that depending on how you use the class. For the next skill, just for reference, Cataclysm is something they adjusted, and it increased. This is how it used to work. Increasing your crit chance and crit damage by 50% for 15 seconds. So yeah, if Darkness Gathered applied Cataclysm. So Cataclysm was just a crit, chance, and damage increase. With the new adjustments, the skill went from 40% to 85%, so more than doubled damage on the skill. The crit chance got reduced by 30% though, down to 20 from 50, and the duration got increased by 5 seconds. So yeah, so you have less crit chance, but you have an increased amount of time that you have the increased crit chance. So might be overall better, but yeah, I don't really know based off that. I would assume that it's doing more damage now with this full buff here. So. Alright, so the change for the next skill, Life Carve. This is going from 50 to 95% damage, so just like a theme here. All the base damage is just going up. Mana cost got reduced to 5 from 8, that's good. No longer applies Decay. So Decay before, this is really nice that we have the post from before to show this. So Decay, negating all non-lifesteal healing you receive for 1 second. So, yeah. Not too sure how this would be used. I'm sure this has a use, but to me this wouldn't be that useful of a skill. Very situational. Back on the new patch notes, the current stuff, it will now apply Lingering Darkness on this skill, and then Lingering Darkness. It looks like Lingering Darkness was actually on the other skill before. So release Clematis Shadows upon your target, inflicting them with Lingering Darkness, a DOT for 12 seconds. They have 10 stacks of Doom. They're consumed to apply Unleashed Doom, powering your skill, increasing your outgoing damage by 100%, and haste by 50 for 8. Can't miss. So that was the Lingering Darkness skill. And it looks like on the new patch notes, that is now on your Life Carve skill, which might be a pretty large buff, maybe a massive one. I haven't tried the class yet. I'll be trying it in the video later after we're done reading through this, but yeah, that looks really good. Although they are reducing the time by half on the skill, so Lingering Darkness is now only a 6-second skill. It used to be 12, and the damage per tick is unchanged. And Veil of Darkness duration from 15 to 20, so they're increasing that duration there. And for reference, Veil of Darkness will increase your damage resistance by 50% for 15 seconds. That's the old skill. The new one is 20 seconds of 50% damage resistance. So you got a damage resistance buff basically. So this skill is pretty insane now, this Life Carve skill. So yeah. All right, on the new post, this is the most recent update. So we're going from 45 damage percent to 90. So big buff there. From 10 to 5, so half the mana cost. Added a new Unleashed Doom aura called Skewered, which reduces haste and dodge by 15% for 5 seconds. Demise's outgoing damage is going from 50% to 15%, so I think that's pretty bad. That's a pretty big reduction, but they increased the duration of it by 5 seconds. Just to be clear here, this is your target's haste and dodge. Just to be very clear. And Demise got a pretty big nerf. So this is the old skill, and on the old skill notes, they mentioned that its most notable effect is Demise. So they took the most notable effect and they put it from 50% to 15. So that's pretty massive, which gives you 50% increase in your damage. But if you think that's a lot, take a look at the final skill. So yeah, they removed a lot of that. They increased the duration slightly, but well, that's probably gonna make up for it with the increased duration to helping. But yeah, kind of an adjustment there on that one. All right, and the last skill for the class. So this is going from 60 to 120, so doubling, which is massive. No longer applies lingering darkness, which was the DOT, the 12-second DOT that got moved to the other skill for the people that aren't caught up there. Back on the new patch notes, it now applies decay, which, if you remember, was the life steal skill, not the life steal, but carving your target, draining life from them, applying decay, and getting all non-life steal heal they receive. So your target can't heal unless it's life steal there. Back on new patch notes, so the decay got increased to 3 seconds from 1, so it's a pretty massive buff, 3 times the duration. And unleashed doom outgoing damage from 100% to 25. So yeah, that's Inner Darkness, one of the rank 4 passives. It's on the new patch notes. Went from 15 to 20%, so 5% increase on hit chance and haste there for the class. So yeah, pretty good. And that's the end of the patch notes. Hopefully I conveyed this information properly. I told you what the old skills did and all that, so you get context for what these changes are, because a lot of times when they do patch notes like this, they don't give you any context for what the old skill used to do or what the skills even do in general. Or yeah, unless you like unless you built the class yourself, this is like reading a manual for an item that doesn't even exist or something. Like it's I always have a hard time reading these design note patch notes for classes. So hopefully I explained this properly for you guys. Let's go in game, see how it handles as a solo class, since it seems like the solo DPS for this got increased quite a bit. So let's give it a try, and I have some footage of it, how it used to handle, so we could do a comparison with that. But I won't go too far into that because this is a class made to be used in a party, of course, so seeing a solo DPS on it really isn't that big of a deal. But since we're here, let's do it anyway. Let's go. All right, here we are in class hall. So my class overview, well, that's okay, I always click the wrong thing. Stat overview. So this is like my VHL enhancement set. I haven't really picked out, I'm not really being too choosy with the enhancements on there. So I got Alvarez, Smite on Blade, Vim on Helm. So just basically my VHL setup, but on this class, which VHL setups for solo DPS. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this handles with the new updates. So yeah, this is definitely updated. Like I checked in the class overview, like it's got 20% on there, so which is what it said on there. So definitely the updated version of the class. Checked everything. Let's see how she handles this. I haven't tried it out at all yet. I know the DPS numbers we were getting before from using it were pretty decent in solo. Like they weren't terrible. It wasn't like great or anything, but about to be what you'd expect from a class that doesn't take that much time to get. Like, pretty easy to get this class. And if you haven't got it yet, some people do bring up good points. Like you might want to at least do the up to the nerf kitten part of this farm, because finding people to fight that mob after the first wave of people already get the class, which a lot of dedicated players already have this class, so you might have already missed your window there. But there's probably still some people straggling behind on the class farm if you haven't got this class yet. So you might want to look into it. Now, not really knowing what I'm doing with the combo here, just being completely transparent, I'm just hitting the skills like you would if you were just farming with the class and not really paying too much attention. We're getting 9k DPS with NSOD there and the enhancements you saw on screen. Pretty casual enhancements, to be honest. Nothing that's too crazy or hard to get there for enhancements. And 9500 still, DPS is still going up, which is good. Which is really good actually for a class. If it keeps scaling higher and higher, the longer you're in a fight, that means it's going to be really good for boss farming in a single room. And yeah, we're getting pretty close. If you had other people in a room in here, you'd easily be at like 15k higher with some buffs easily. Or if you pop the potion or whatever, you could definitely like 9800 already. Yeah, we're gonna go up. We're gonna hit another digit on the list up to 10k. That's really solid for solo DPS, to be honest, for how easy this class is to get. Yeah, that's actually really cool to see. So yeah, seems like a good buff if you're using this solo compared to how it used to be. To be honest, I saw the 10k number there for a second, so yeah, that's actually really good for DPS. Just for reference on DPS, this is my old video in the background. Well, my old video from a couple of days ago. So 7200 DPS is what I ended up with after farming for a long time. So there's other people in this room, but I was farming solo. No, this guy was fighting, but no one was buffing this. And even if they were buffing it, 7200 is still a lot lower than the close to 10,000 that it's doing right now with the exact same enhancements on the same mob. Yeah, so you can see the buff is pretty substantial for solo DPS, and I imagine that translates into a group fight as well. So pretty good change for the class, if you ask me. Just for a sanity check, here's Void High Lord with the exact same enhancements and everything, right? Exact same setup for VHL. Here's how that looks for reference, for maybe you don't have either of these classes and you're just curious. So doing the same thing, just hitting the skills on cooldown as they pop up, like you'd probably use it if you were farming and like watching like a video or something on the other monitor or on your phone or whatever while you're playing. You usually help people farm things in this game, let's be honest. Not really paying too much attention, and it's how I use 90% of the classes most of the time. So yeah, you can see VHL is clearing it DPS wise in a solo situation here. Get 13k off the rip, not even have to wait for it at all. But VHL takes a lot longer to get as well. So, and that's kind of how they balance classes in this game for some reason. It's based on the difficulty of acquiring it is the power of the class for whatever reason they think that makes the game balanced. Or yeah, I don't know. It'd be nice for a class that has its own niche and whatnot, and some of them do, but anyway, so yeah, just a quick little sanity check there. Thanks for watching this video. Hopefully it was informative in some way. Hopefully you took something away from it. The class got changed, so if you're using it and it seems a little different, that's what happened with it. Thanks for watching. There'll be a news video tomorrow on the channel, so come back for that, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Bye-bye.